So obviously with the whole fallout with Quinn Snyder leaving Utah, and then people were saying that that team's going to blow up at some point anyways, even before this Quinn Snyder left. But now that there's rumblings that the team is going to blow up. They're going to trade Gobert, Donovan Mitchell. There's possibilities of all that happening. So Eric Walden, the Salt Lake City Tribune, wrote this. This is an our trade. This is Eric Walden's trade from the
disclaimer.
Yeah, Salt Lake City Tribune. So he put this is the hypothetical trade: Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle, and picks for Donovan Mitchell. So that's the trade that he is putting in his article. That he thinks that's a hypothetical trade that would work out for Utah and the Sixers. So I have to ask you guys: would you guys do this trade?
No. Too much.
That's interesting, Eric, because you were going to do this for Beal. You think Beal's that much?
No. We didn't give that much up for Beal. It wasn't picks and all that. It was just Tobias and Max.
That's true. It wasn't picks. So the picks is where you draw the line?
The picks and a third guy.
Yeah.
So it's a third guy and picks.
So if they said either Thybulle or the picks, would you do it?
It got to be somebody else with Donovan Mitchell. It just can't just be him.
And I've seen
you're essentially giving up two starters and arguably your fifth starter or your sixth or seventh man for one guy that I don't think is like, trading for, Kawhi or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he's there.
Yeah.
I like him a lot, but I don't think he's like the top shooting guard.
What if they threw in Royce O'Neal?
I mean, I would consider it, but to me, that's still too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're moving two starters to get two starters that, in some ways aren't very much better than two starters that you traded them for.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Mitchell's a great offensive talent, but I think we're already grooming someone in Maxey whose trajectory is headed that way. So to give up a younger version, 4 years younger than him, it just doesn't make sense. I wouldn't do it. I'm not saying Maxey is Mitchell by any means, but Maxey improved from year one to year two more than Mitchell's improved from year one to year five. So Maxey's going like this. Mitchell, if you look at his stats, I mean, it's pretty much, I'm not going to say he's plateaued because that's not fair because he's 25, turning 26. But I mean, I just don't see where he's going to get that much better. His shooting percentage is about the same. It's gone down a little bit. His rebounds have gone down since last year, I Bleav. His assists are about even. His percentages, he's never shot. He's never broken above 45% shooting from field goal, and he's never broken 39% from three. Maxey already did better on both last year at 21.
Yeah, I mean, but only thing the difference is Maxey's never been the number one option in getting all.
It's true, yeah. Percentages are going to be affected by.
So you have to put that in play as well.
100%. I do agree with that. I mean, Mitchell's he shoots in mass quantity. He does, and his percentages are pretty good considering how much he shoots. I'm not. He's a great player, but if you're saying that, okay, Maxey's not there, he's getting there, and then Harris. I know Harris's contract's awful. I know it is, but I mean,
it's not awful for him.
No, it's fantastic for him. He's having a great time. I don't think he's complaining at all. Which actually is an interesting question, right? I know it's a huge difference. There's a million reasons why it's different, but you're a big football fan. Do you think there will ever be a time where guys start restructuring contracts in the NBA the way they do in football to try to like maneuver things? Add a year, take some money away, distribute my money a little differently type thing?
The players can't give up that right to take away those guaranteed contracts.
Yeah.
They did that. The way the league countered that, the players countered that was to limit the amount of years based on your rights or, whether you're signing with another team or your current team. That was the way to kind of keep the numbers down, even though they make so much more in a year, but it's only so many years they can sign for. So that's the way you kind of balance it. But the players would never go for that.
What about they're all guaranteed, right? So what about more front loading?
Well, that's not a that.
I'm sorry, more backloading, which they do. They go up like $2 or $3 million every year. But what if you went up like $6 million in a year or something?
It's a certain limit that you can go up each year. Like that kind of is negotiated. How much of an increase you can have per year is negotiated collective bargaining agreement amount. So they could collective, they can go to a collective bargaining agreement and decide to increase that number. They could do that, but then it's going to really mess up the cap as well. So you can have a cap hit.
It definitely will.
And then the next year you can have a bigger cap hit, which is going to take you into luxury tax a little faster. So it's I get what you're saying with football, and the reason why football can kind of do that is football, for most of them, aren't guaranteed, and they can restructure them, and they get signing bonuses also in football, and those signing bonuses, even though they get a 10-year, like $10 million up front, they spread it within the life of the contract as far as how it hits the salary cap. So it's a little different. The structures are different. So there's no way to kind of look at it and say, can we do that? It's just, they're different.
Yeah, I was looking at someone's, I forgot whose it was, their contract, their salary, and he went up like from this year to next year, goes up like $5 million, but it might be percentage based on how much he's already making.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't have a guy go from like 10 to 15 next year, but you could probably have a guy going from like 48 to 53 next year.
Yeah.
Because he's making so much more.
He's making so much. Yeah. It's a percentage of what he's making.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Sorry, I just wanted to go on about contracts for a second, but yeah, going back to the trade, I'd say no. I'd say no to that.
Yeah.
Now, if you could find a way to fit like Royce O'Neal's close for me, he gives us that doggy thing, but if you could figure out to get away Bogey in there, which contractually I don't know if it would work, you have to like throw a Danny Green in there or something. And if you gave me Bogey and Thybulle and Mitchell, that's a little closer to where I'd feel we're getting there.